Hello, so I was talking about my loom. I do an Infinity S loom and I make this wonderful baby blanket. And I'm going to show you how I do that. I use this brand of baby blanket. Now the stripes, it's discontinued, but I did find a site on Ipsy where I did stockpile a bunch of it. But there is still just a regular brand of the Baronet Pipsqueaks. It's not the stripes, it's just the regular old Burnett yarn, but it still works the same. It just doesn't come in such a big bulky big container like this. But here is the blanket. Now as you see, the blanket itself very thick, and here is the blanket. A lot of people that I've made it for have told me that it feels like a weighted blanket. A lot of the moms I make the baby blankets for are like, I love this blanket. It's a weighted blanket. My baby loves it. I use a lot of it for tummy time. I use it over the car seat for when it's wintertime, when we're going out. A lot of moms really love this blanket when I make them their blankets. So you can tell this is for a little girl. It's not extremely huge or anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be enormous. It is a baby blanket. So, but the next one I'm making is a little bit bigger. Just because, just exploring some options, making things a little bit bigger, smaller. Some moms like them bigger, some like them small. So, I will show you exactly how I make it. Get this coloring, get this thickness on it. Okay, so here's my loom I've been talking about. I've been learning to crochet, but this is where I started from. I started from this. And as you see, I already have a blanket in the process, so I'm going to show you exactly how I make it on this. And this is the blanket. I'll show you in full form what it looks like. Here's the yarn I use. I'll show you the trick of how I make this beautiful blanket. So here's the loom I use. It's an S loom, an Infinity one. As you can see, I've already started. I already got a good amount of coloring on here. Now the secret I do, as you can probably see, I double the yarn. I double it. So I try to also to make sure it's two different colors. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Like right now I have the light and the dark purple. So that did work out for me for once. So we'll go ahead. And as you see here, the ones I've already placed down. But right here, I have not. So it is a little harder with the double one because they are thicker. So you gotta move it up. This takes a little time, a little wiggle room. Just gotta be careful not to pull too hard. Because when you do, you're gonna break one of these. And if you break them in a certain spot, you're doomed. You will have to start over. Your loom might even be unusable after that. You might have to start a whole new loom. You might have to get a whole new loom. And that is something that's not very good because these are very pricey. I, of course, have multiple looms because I have multiple projects. Just like with my crocheting, I have multiple projects. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to go over a couple of these. And then I'll show you when I get all way over here how I set this up to go for my next round. And then I will continue to work on it. Once I get a little bit more, I will show you how to cast off. I do have about this much more work to do on it, as it is going to be a decent baby blanket. I do like it to be a decent size when it comes to my baby blankets. I just have to see how it looks and how it feels. So we'll just have to go with that. I have multiple other colors. I have other ones I'm working on, but this one right here is going to be my little girl one. And the name of the yarn is actually called Cotton Candy. So we'll go ahead and just call this the Cotton Candy loom one for right now. And we'll see how it goes. The one I showed you, the blanket, that was the yarn I used. So this is the Cotton Candy baby girl blanket. And I'm going to show you on the loom how I made this beautiful one and see how pretty it is. I just love the colors. I wish they never discontinued the yarn, but you don't have to have this color yarn to make a beautiful thick baby blanket with baby blanket yarn. It is still possible. It's just not with these beautiful colors. Sadly, you can still make it. They still have pretty colors out there, just not in Cotton Candy. So I will get down here, get back to you, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I have finished stitching. I just do a basic stitch. I don't do anything fancy, just pull it on over. So what we're gonna do now is, like I said, since there is 2 color yarns, makes it kind of hard. So I'll just get myself a nice good amount of the yarn before I do anything crazy. And what we're gonna do is just gonna wrap it. I think the technical term is E-wrap, and that's all I do. I just E-wrap because it's just simple, easy, basic. It's a nice little stress reliever when you come home. You can just do this, stir these on, see how quick it's going. It's just like boom, boom, boom. I'll make another video too, showing on how to actually cast on everything, and how, if having any issues with the pegs, because it can be kind of hard. I am just doing the basic, this is purl, basic, I think it's purl stitch. It's called the E-stitch actually, just E-wrap. Just E-wrapping it, E-stitch. It's just basic. Just easy, easy, easy. So, as you see, just using my yarn. The double yarn is always so much fun, especially when it's a thicker yarn. Just makes that extra fluffiness, but at the same time, makes it also just a little, always just makes it a little harder. Especially on the wrists and on the fingers. You'll come up with your own technique as well. And when I am knitting over it, I usually hold it towards me because it makes it easier. Sometimes it makes it easier on a table. Once it starts getting a little bit bigger, it does come to be a little bit more of a nuisance, but that comes in time. Right now, you know, it's just a little guy, just a little one. So it has time to grow. Great thing about this though, it does take off pretty quick. Once you start really putting some hours into it, it just starts growing. And you will have a full-size blanket before you know it. And then before you know it, you'll be going to your yarn store and you'll be buying out all the baby yarn like this and making baby blankets for everybody, and you'll be waiting for somebody to have a baby, or you'll just have them in stock. So when someone does have a baby, or someone is you hear someone has a baby shower coming up, you'll be like, oh, I have a baby blanket. You can have one I made. Or something. You can usually do that. I usually sell mine to people. I sell most of my baby blankets, and I give mine away as gifts. So, fair right there, back and forth. The ones I do sell, I just take a gift card to the place where I make the yarn, where I buy my yarn, and I just buy more yarn. Kind of makes it easier that way. So, as you can see, everything's on. Double check everything. So as you see, I'm kind of weird. I do mine like this just to make sure it's on there nice and good and tight. I don't want any, as you can see, it's on there good and tight, nice and tight on there. See, not going anywhere. So now here's the tricky part. This is the tricky part. The first one is always so hard. Sometimes what I do, I just take one color and flip it. And take that light lavender and you flip it. And you just go about your way. See how I just pull it over? That's all I do. I don't do nothing fancy, nothing else, and I do nothing else. This is all I do. Just sometimes I'll do this just to get a nice little loose, get a little looser, and pull on over. Pull over. I have some other cool color ones I'll show you. For right now, work on the cotton candy one. So go ahead. And then what I do before I get too far is I pull them down. The reason I do that, it just seems like it makes it a little bit easier. I don't know if it actually does, but for me, it feels like it. So then I just pull it down, and voila. See how it's going? Alright, so go ahead, continue, just doing the basic little stitch here, all the way to the end, and then we will wrap again and do it again. We'll do this until you get to your desired length, and then we'll cast off. I will do a video on how to cast off on this, but first we have to get to our desired length. That will be a little bit for me. As you see, I am just in the mid part of this, so we will get working on this, and I'll show you how to cast off later on. Alrighty.